I work as stewardess, deckhand on board yachts and sailing vessels. My last experience was terrible. I got hired on a 20-meter motoryacht to work alongside with the captain and the chef. He's French and rude. She's Spanish and also rude and doesn't speak English, and they are a couple. My time on board was short, but it felt long and miserable. There was no fresh food on board as the chef always refused to cook. She always had an excuse. She was tired, or we were navigating, or we were moored or docked or whatever. The funny thing is that she was not tired and she had no excuse to be resting, chilling, hanging out while I was working. She had always a long face and a bad vibe. On the other hand, the captain was her puppet, not a hard worker either, not the most reliable person, not the most qualified person, not friendly or nice, and his body odor is just terrible. So, I decided to quit. My contract was until the 15th of October, but I quit on the 30th of September. Unfortunately, it was stipulated that I should give a 7 days notice, meaning that I should have been disembarking by the 6th of October. At the time we were in Corsica, and the plan was to navigate from there to the Canary Islands. Honestly, I didn't want to be at sea with those two for more than a week and no fresh food on board. The captain and the chef hated me even before I quit. They hate everyone, but after I quit, it got worse. Of course, they didn't want to get the yacht ready and do the navigation by themselves because again, while I was working, they were chilling. The next day after I quit we departed towards the Balearic Islands. I thought I would disembark in Palma or Formentera. But when we got there, 3 days later, the captain was avoiding the disembarkment subject. I tried to talk to him about it multiple times but he would ignore me, avoid me or shut me down. We started navigating towards the south of Spain and during one of my multiple attempts to talk to him, I told him that I should be disembarking in the south of Spain but that it wouldn't be possible for me to disembark in Gibraltar because I do hold a Colombian passport, and in order for me to enter UK's territory, I'd need a visa which I do not have. From that point, he started insisting that I would have to disembark in Gibraltar. I think wanted to do it on purpose, because he knew that I would get in trouble. I could have been getting deported. So, I tried to talk to him again, to show him office info about the visa, but he kept insisting and saying that Gibraltar is Spanish territory and Schengen area. It was the most stressful situation of my life. I was tired, we were doing solo night and day watches for more than 3 days, hungry. The chef didn't cook a single meal during the whole navigation, scared. As a seafarer the last thing I want is to have immigration issues. There was barely any Wi-Fi. We were far away from shore, so the connection was intermittent, and the vibe on board was terrible. When I couldn't stand any more the fear, the stress and the anxiety, I started contacting other seafarers looking for advice and guidance. All of them told me to contact the Coast Guards because I was being held on board against my will and heading to a place where I couldn't legally enter. I tried to contact the management agency, but it was Sunday, 5th of October, so they didn't reply. I had no other option than to contact the owner of the yacht. I was so lucky because in that moment the Wi-Fi was stable and I got to speak to him and to explain to him the situation. He's very nice and he understood. He immediately told me that I would disembark the next day in the south of Spain and that everything will be okay. The owner called the captain. Apparently the owner was really mad at the captain. I had to do my watch, so I went to the flybridge. I knew the captain would come to say something, so I was recording with my phone. He came and started shouting at me in the most aggressive way you can imagine. He started telling me that calling the owner was unprofessional. He threatened me with not paying me my salary and the charter tip. He started insulting me. He attempted to grab my phone from my hands twice, but the second time he tried to, he did a gesture with his hands like he was about to hit me up on the face or something. After that incident, I decided to hide my passport and valuable stuff. I made my closest ones aware of the situation, but it was a nightmare to know that I was far away from shore, that something could happen to me and they would side together as their partners. Every single time I would go to the bathroom or to rest I would lock the doors. I could barely sleep or rest. The next day I was finally able to disembark in Fuengirola, near Malaga, in the south of Spain. I waited to get paid and then I reported him to the management agency, to the flag state, Cayman Islands, and to the owner. The captain denied everything to the owner, but luckily I have recorded 2 conversations. I talked to the owner again at some point but he's a busy person, so it has not been possible. I got an answer from management. They say that the recordings have no legal value, but other than that, they haven't said much. I am still waiting for a response from the flag state. The thing is that the yacht soon would head to the Caribbean for the season, so the captain is looking for my replacement and I'm making sure it won't be an easy task. I don't want anyone to go through what I went through, and I suspect this is not the first time he has that behavior. The girl who worked with them before me left within 20 days. I am sure he abuses his power. Something that I love about yachting is that we are a big and united community. It is not difficult to mark a red flag a job offer, a captain o a yacht, even if it is not official. But there are so many Facebook and WhatsApp groups where you can share the information and then is going to be really hard for them to find someone willing to work for them. I have spoken with lots of stewardess and deckhand. I have told them what happened and they have stopped replying to his emails. They have started canceling interviews and application processes. It has been a month since he started looking for my replacement and he hasn't been able to find anyone. Maybe a month sounds like a short period of time, but in yachting is a very long period of time. Usually someone gets hired within 2 days and the person is on board within 3 days.